So bounding in the comics. Bounding in the comics. I know. Eventually, I'm going to find another article to cover. Matter of fact, I might have something in the works later. Y'all stay tuned. Anyway, WandaVision writer Jack Schaefer reveals Marvel's feminist agenda. Over on Bounding in the Comics, I have the link in the description. It reads as such. WandaVision writer Jack Schaefer recently revealed Marvel Studios' feminist agenda in a discussion about subverting the superhero genre. Schaefer spoke with Variety about Marvel Studios' latest show, providing details about the design of the show. But she also provided a glimpse at Marvel's feminist agenda. First, she stated, the design of the show from early on was that we were going to front load the TV sitcom stuff and the Twilight Zone aspects with this Lynchian vibe. Then we would get to more cut and dry superhero fare and blasty and people flying in the air and all the wire hook in the middle of the narrative. And then we would end on this big bang, she continued. Schaefer previously claimed she struggled to read comics. I'll save it for later. She explained, I'm not a very good comic reader, clearly. I have a hard time digesting the storylines, and I never know which cell to look at, and I don't know. I'm a disappointment, perhaps, to the fandom in that way. But the imagery is always, of course, very startling and moving and inspiring, and it was Kevin Feige's idea to marry Wanda and Vision to the sitcom world. Crazy-eyed Feige, at it again. Nevertheless, she tells Variety, comics and comic material often have women who have epic powers on a scale that's so enormous that it could destroy the world. Then the narrative often goes in a direction where she comes undone emotionally and can't control it, she continued. Schaefer then proclaimed, we would never allow the dialogue to be, I can't control it. Right. This attitude doesn't appear to be coming from just Schaefer, as Marvel Studios boss, Crazy-Eyed Feige, previously detailed that a Doctor Strange cameo was cut from the show. Some people might say, oh, it would have been so cool to see Doctor Strange, but it would have taken away from Wanda, Feige explained. He added, we didn't want the end of the show to be commoditized to go to the next movie. Here's the white guy. Let me show you how power works. However, WandaVision does show Wanda coming undone emotionally and losing control of her powers. In fact, she loses control so much that she enslaves an entire town of people. So while she might not say that she can't control her powers, it's definitely shown throughout the show that she can't control them. Interestingly enough, while they would not allow Wanda to utter those words, it is a main theme in Tony Stark, aka Iron Man's arc through the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The first film is all about his weapons falling out of his control. The second movie is his Iron Man technology being recreated by Whiplash and exploited by Justin Hammer. Stark's fear of losing control leads him to create Ultron, who tries to wipe out all of humanity. That fear also leads him to initially side against Captain America in the Civil War film. Tony Stark isn't the only character who explores this theme in the MCU. Spider-Man famously struggles with his powers. In Spider-Man Homecoming, Stark has to save the day when Spider-Man attempts to jump Vulture during an arms deal. Spider-Man makes a mess of it that results in a ferry boat being split in half and sinking into the river. Fortunately, Stark is able to save the day and repair the boat and break up the arms deal, but Vulture is able to escape. Another character who struggles with the ability to control his powers is the Hulk. It's not until the first Avengers movie he's able to control the process. Much of the first film is him struggling with his powers and trying to prevent the Hulk from doing massive damage to high-density areas. In the first Ant-Man film, Scott Lang also loses control of his suit when he first tries it on. In fact, Michael Douglas' Hank Pym tells him, not bad for a test drive. Keep the suit. I'll be in touch. Lang, uncontrollably shaking his head, responded, no, thank you. Despite all of these examples from the MCU of male characters saying this, Schaefer's claim that Wanda wouldn't say this shouldn't come as a surprise. Schaefer previously claimed, I'm not interested in adhering to comic canon that is discriminatory in any way or that violates my value system. Well, it appears we found out one piece of the comic canon that she'll definitely not adhere to. Wanda will not be allowed to admit she can't control her power. And it's more than likely we won't see any more scenes with Wanda where she struggles to control her power like we did in the beginning of Captain America Civil War. Well, see, now, my take on Jack Schaefer was never the best pick. Never the best pick. They could have ran with this theme and it would have still worked out. See, here's one thing about it, right? WandaVision, on the surface, makes sense, right? As far as the MCU goes. Like she basically takes this whole town hostage. She, quote unquote, I guess, revives Vision and basically builds this happy kind of like family, this 60s, like 50s, 60s, 70s, like sitcom style lifestyle with them. And throughout the series, you start to get like subtle hints at something bigger going on in the outside, right? You see Shield trying to get in to wherever this dome is, or wherever this invisible wall or whatever is. Okay, I understand that premise. There are a lot of things that happen in WandaVision that shouldn't have happened or happened wrong. And the thing that makes people like us, like, the comic fans and whatnot, the thing that pisses us off the most is that you have people like Jack Schaefer, who does not read comics because she can't understand how to read them, which makes no sense. You go writing down, writing down, writing down, writing down, writing down. It's not difficult to understand how to read a comic book. Now, she's talking about trying to understand, or trying to comprehend what's going on in the comics. That's her fault. You shouldn't be doing anything comic book related. If you have, I don't understand why these people, I might have lost my initial thread, but I'm on a rant now. Don't care. If you have a built-in audience, I'm talking comic book fans at this point, right? If you have fans that span for generations, like probably up to grandparents, maybe up to great-grandparents, if you have fans that go that far, that want to see the things that they read in books, like realize on TV, like in a show or in a movie or whatever, you can do that. It would not only impress them, but it would impress the normies, because the normies will eat whatever they're fed. That's how it works. That's how it's always going to work. So when you give people stuff like this that doesn't follow what is canon to what they know, they will initially don't wait a minute. Whoa, that didn't happen that way. That doesn't make sense. Well, why are you doing it this way? And then, you have the normies and the people, the Hollywood elites and stuff like that, that'll tell you, oh, it's a different universe. It's a different universe. You don't have to take it so seriously. It's a different universe. They're fictional characters. Like, listen, people grew up with these characters. Right? So it makes zero sense why you would change what these people know to fit your feminist agenda, whatever. Now, I've seen, like, I would say a majority of WandaVision. I stopped caring after a while because it started getting real stupid. Also because of the whole situation with Gina Carano. Once Disney, Lucasfilm specifically, let Gina go and told everybody and her at the same time, like, nah, you not only lost my respect, you also lost my money in that case. So I just chose to not watch the rest of it. And just catching the cliff notes and stuff like that, things happen completely differently from how it happens in the comics. Like, there was no Mephisto. The whole situation with Monica Rambeau, that didn't happen the way it did in the comics. Like, what's his name? Jimmy Woo. Jimmy Woo got completely downplayed from who he actually is. Like, a lot of the characters were handled terribly. Absolutely terribly. And the thing that pisses people off the most, aside from the whole Gina Carano thing, the thing that pisses people off the most is that you just choose to make your own thing. The comics give you plenty of material to work with, but you say, no, I'm just going to take the character and what they can do and just make my own story. No, listen, no one's saying you can't make your own story, just that if you're using canonical references, just go with the canon. That's it. You have Agatha Harkness, you have Pietro, you have Wanda. What did Photon have to do with any of that, right? What are we doing here? Why? Why not Mephisto? I don't understand why not Mephisto. Hell, there was a good lead into Mephisto being a key character. And it would have made sense if you did bring in Strange. There are a lot of inconsistencies within, like, whatever they're trying to do with the MCU that just does not work. Like, when you say things like, oh, well, my feminist agenda, this, that, and the other, I didn't like things that didn't. So what the hell did she say? Let me scroll back down to that shit because it pissed me off. she said, I'm not interested in adhering to comic canon. And that's the issue. You're not interested in adhering to comic canon that is discriminatory in any way or that violates my value system. So basically what you're saying is, I understand that someone else created this character and built them up in this way, but I don't give a fuck what they did with their own character. I'm going to take their character and turn it into what I want them to be. Do you not see the fucking issue here? This is why people always go at you the way they do. Jack Schaefer, Kevin Feige, people up top who don't know how to fucking shut up and just follow what is canonical. And nobody's saying you have to, like, I'm not even speaking from a purist standpoint. I'm speaking from a hardcore fan standpoint. Like, Peter Parker was never a pussy, okay? He was never a bitch-ass dude. Like they have him in a Homecoming. I just want to spend time with MJ. I don't want to be a superhero. I just want to spend time with relax. Okay? He has never been that. MJ was never a black girl. So this Michelle Jones chick, not Mary Jane at all. The fact that he's meeting up with Quentin Beck and I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head, but Vulture. Like, the fact that he's meeting up with these characters, it hints at the Sinister Six. And that's fine enough, right? It's cool enough that you're bringing in those characters or whatever, but what you're doing is essentially turning him into nothing more than, like, Iron Boy. He's nothing more than, like, you're turning him into someone who can't function without, like, some kind of tutelage from Tony Stark. You could have had plenty of, like, that Iron Man suit or Iron Spider. That Iron Spider suit was terrible, by the way. Like, it looks ugly. You should have gone with the classic Iron Spider. It would have made a lot more sense and it would have hinted at a lot more things. But the thing is, like, the entire MCU is just fucked, right? The entire MCU just makes no fucking sense. When you actually read the books and you go back and look at this stuff, you go, well, why didn't they just follow the books? The books sound so much better. Like, it still doesn't make sense to me that you had Thanos, this great ass fucking threat, who was spurred on to get the Infinity Gauntlet in order to impress Mistress Death. You get the Infinity Gauntlet with the stones, and he just starts doing some of the wildest shit. I'm talking like he basically removed all the bones from Wolverine's like his body. He put Cyclops' whole head inside a glass box so that it would reflect his concussion blast and also cut off his circulation. He threw Mjolnir across the fucking universe and damn near killed Thor. What else? I can't remember who it was he turned somebody into a bunch of blocks. I forgot who it was off the top of my head. And then he had Taraxia, who was created initially to make Mistress Death, like, jealous, which it didn't work. But Taraxia stuck to Thanos nonetheless. Taraxia caved Spider-Man's motherfucking face in. That shit was brutal. And I'm sitting here like, this is so much more appealing. Why did they take this pacified route? Thanos just shows the fuck up out of nowhere with the Black Order and just goes, you know what? Half of y'all motherfuckers need to go. Snap. What kind of logic? It makes no sense to me. It just doesn't. Why hire people who will impress the smaller majority, right? Like, okay, you impress the normies, cool. But what if you impress the normies and the comic book fans? Just saying. It makes sense if you just follow what is there. If you just sidestep your own fucking twisted mentality for a moment and just go, well, how can I make the most money? How can I appease the normies and the fans? Well, let me just read these books and see what they like. Let me see what draws them in. Or just get the fuck out of the way and bring in somebody who actually gives a fuck. That's it. That's all we're asking for. Like, Jack Schaefer was a terrible pick for this. And then she's supposed to be on something else that's supposed to be coming up. I think she's working on Black Widow, and that's going to be, fucking. They could have got Jen and Sylvia. They could have got my girls up there, and it'd been great. No. Pick someone without directorial experience, however you call it. Pick someone who doesn't care about the lore. Pick someone who just doesn't give a fuck about anything aside from their feminist agenda. Yeah, go with Jack Schaefer and just ruin Widow. It's not gonna be good. I'll tell you that much. More like 9 times out of 10, the women are all gonna fare well, and the men are either gonna be terrible, or effeminate, or completely pacified, or some kind of comedic relief. Like the men won't get any kind of glow up like they deserve. They're basically gonna get they're gonna get the Luke Skywalker treatment, the Han Solo treatment, the Ben Solo treatment, the Finn treatment, the Poe Dameron treatment. Like the problem is that people don't care. The people up top, they don't care anymore. They're gonna pontificate on that shit. They're gonna constantly talk on their message over and over and over again until people just decide, you know what, fuck it, I'm done. I don't care anymore. I don't. I literally don't. Like I'm noping out of the cinematic shit. Like I refuse to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, especially after reading Avengers and catching up with some shit where the Falcon hated being on the Avengers team for the notion of him being the token character. It is in the fucking books. It is in the fucking books that he was put on the team specifically because he's a black character. As a matter of fact, Peter Gyrick says it too. Or Henry Gyrick, whatever name. Anyway, he says it where he picks he dilutes the team down to 7 members, and he puts Falcon on the team. And Hawkeye's like, well, why not? Well, who's this Falcon guy? What are you doing with this Falcon? Who's this guy? And he says, and Gyrick says, I would have put Falcon on it, or I would have put Black Panther on the team, but Panther has some other things he has to handle in Wakanda. I can't take him away from his duties to his kingdom. So we brought on someone else for the sake of essentially representation. And when Falcon found that out from Steve talking to him, Falcon said, man, I don't want to be on this shit. I don't want to be on this team for this matter. And Steve basically talked him into it. And he was like, all right, fine, I'll deal with it. And you see Falcon over and over go, yes, sir, massa. I shows to do that for you. Like he shucks and jives on fucking purpose just to fuck with Gyrick. And then you delegate this motherfucker down to, oh, well, what about the people that have been suffering? I'm a black man carrying the shield. Like, get the fuck out of here with your bullshit. This is precisely why people don't watch that shit. This is precisely why people don't care about that shit. Because you have an agenda and you choose to push that as opposed to a good fucking story. That's all we're asking for. Something entertaining. Movies should be entertaining. If you have a message or something like that, hit Spike Lee the fuck up. Go talk to that guy. All right? Go talk to people who can do that shit artfully. Like what's that guy's name? Fucking Jordan Peele. Go talk to Jordan Peele. Go talk to those people who know how to actually theme a movie in that way. Don't take superheroes and turn that shit into your fucking agenda. Because you're pissing people off like me off. I have no urge to go to a comic book shop and go pick up the latest comics when I can just go online and buy back issues like secondhand and give Marvel absolutely nothing. They don't deserve this shit. They don't deserve the support of the fans. That's why so many fans are noping out. That's why the comic book sales are fucking tanking as they are, and manga's outselling their shit by leaps and fucking bounds. Because you don't care. And if I have to shout this shit until my fucking lungs collapse, if I have to shout this shit until the end of fucking eternity, loops the fuck around, starts to fuck back up from the Big Bang and catches back up to where we are right now, I will continue to sit on this fucking soapbox and say the same shit over and over. Get the fuck out if you do not care about the people who are supporting you in the first fucking place. I'm done for right now. I'm waiting until the next article pops off to I can continue this rant. If y'all enjoy this, let me know in the comment section below. The whole Susan Witwicky checklist. Y'all already know what the fucking deal is. I'm out. Y'all stay safe. It's real in these streets. And take it easy. Holy moly.